Dan Davis. I was born in Osceola, Iowa, 24th January, 46. Well, there was sort of a window there that I wasn't doing anything. I had dropped out of school, so take a break from college, so I thought, well, might as well. They're going to get me sooner or later. I was assigned a board lady. Or she had so many people that she was in charge of. After you reached 18 or whatever, 20, you had to register for the draft. And then she got you. And you had to keep in touch with her, what your status was. So I got out of school for a semester and thought I'd go take care of this obligation. And Miss Lapopoulos says, come on down. And she said, don't worry, your name's not, numbered not for a while. It'll be a while. Well, within a little over a week, I was gone. Straight to basic. I started out at Fort Hood, Texas, for basic. I gained almost 50 pounds. I was 127 pounds when I went in service, and I came back 175. It's a funny story. I went, when I was in basic, you go through the tires, through the bars, monkey bars and stuff, and then get in line to eat. I was so hungry at breakfast time, they'd go down the line and they'd throw it on your plate. I'd be eating it as I went down to the end. Goes put my tray back in the dirty trays, run around the mess hall, get in line again. Go through the monkey bars and everything, go back through and eat, like 2 or 3 times, almost every morning. I have a big mess sergeant named Applewhite. Never forget him. He said, well, you been here before, Dan? I said, no, first time, sir. He says, no, I don't think so. So he took me back to my drill sergeant and says, oh, Special Davis here thinks he must be hungry. Oh, really? Why don't you fix him, Applewhite? Why don't you go back and fix him a big breakfast and we'll eat it right here? I swear to God, this is the truth. He cooked up a dozen eggs, loaf of bread was toast, a whole pile of bacon, and whatever else was on the plate. Made me eat it all, and a gallon of milk. And then put me on KP for about 3 weeks. I was the outdoor man peeling potatoes. I went straight to Vietnam. We landed in Quinh Nhon on the coast, and flew into Pleiku area up in the highlands. I was the operator for the brigade commander. When we first went over there was a platoon sergeant in one of the companies, and that was walking with was attached to the brigade at that time. His name is J.J. Lee. I'll never forget him. And he had been in Korea. And he was we were all young guys, and he was older. And I had stuff. I said, "How do you cope with this?" Because we got to be pretty close. And he says, "No," he says, "You can't." He says, "You always got to think, sorry it was him. Glad it wasn't you. Here's what it is. Let's go on." You just got to keep saying that to yourself, or you won't be a good soldier. Yeah, I was only in the battalion, in the RTO there for like about 6 months. And then I transferred to a more busy outfit at the 5th Special Forces, Green Berets, and became trained in long-range recon. There would be like two Americans and get a couple Vietnamese Rangers. We'd be dropped in by helicopter out in the middle of an area that the division wanted to look at, or the brigade wanted to look at. And we'd go in and sneak around and look and see. Went looking for the Vietnamese VC. we'd go out for a week or 3 or 4 days, or we did that back to back to back to back to back all the time. Back in for a day and maybe back out for a week. I always felt good about having the radio because I knew I was going to get out. So if you've been smart, you better stay with me. At the radio, I had what I would do would take a pair of socks, long knee-high socks, army socks, and then I'd put the seed ration cans in there and then tie them on the side of the radio so I had my pack free for other things. I just, from Intel, they would say, hey, why don't you go, why don't you send somebody in this area here? Heard reports of, a lot of trail use and sightings and stuff. Go see what's out there. Sometimes we see nothing, sometimes we see a lot, sometimes we got compromised, fired upon, run to get away, go back out another time. Well, we have Osceola radio. We just call in. We have special call signs for different people. You can go to their channel and call them in. A lot of times when we made contact and had to get out quick, we used 105s, howitzers. There were fireberries in our area, in the area we were in. We usually fire for effect right on our position, so we could break contact immediately. Just call in and you can hear them coming. Just hope it didn't hit you, then jump up and run. We had that happen a few times. Called it in right on top of us. Just hoped it wouldn't hit us. And hit, and we were pretty darn close. Say, hey, I guess we know where we're at. Sometimes those experiences lasted several hours or days. So they got pretty serious lot. Oh, I've talked to a few of them later. Okay, that was good shooting. Okay, so you told us where to shoot at. We had gunships that came in also. That's a Huey helicopter with 40 millimeter cannons on it to come in. And then we did marked with smoke. Say, you're in our area, I can hear you. We're going to throw smoke. And say, smoke thrown. You can pop a smoke grenade and throw it out where we were. And he said, we never said what color. Because the pilot would say, yep, I see red. Oh no. And the fact is, I threw green, but I wouldn't say anything. So that means that VC were throwing smoke to get the helicopter in so they could shoot it. So that was our procedure. I'm throwing smoke, smoke thrown. They'd come back with, oh, I see green. That's me. Everything to the east of that is fire. That's why whenever I hear a helicopter now, it always gives me that warm, fuzzy feeling that I'm getting out.
Yeah.
Came back in from a few patrols like that, had to fire to get away. Come back in and break it down to clean it. And here's a round stuck right in the chamber. Well, gee, I'm glad you didn't have to fire it. It's not the second time. We had this, we got our own little camp. We sort of stayed by ourselves off in an area. I had a little capuchin monkey. And it was given to me by a CB. He was going home, so he just passed it on. Whenever I was back, he'd always hang around my tent. And he'd drink beer. Well, one night, You're all sitting in the tent there drinking beer, and his name was Roberts. Was on another team, and he'd always feed that monkey beer. So he'd get drunk, run around the rafters of the tent, and he'd always come up to Roberts and sit right here. And I knew what he was going to do. He'd pee all over him. He'd jump out and run up and get him in the rafters and come running over and hide behind my tent, or hide behind my bunk. And Roberts would get mad and to pull his pistol out. I'm going to kill that damn monkey of yours. I mean, he'd always make sure that he would stop before he started firing around the tent. My dad found out that I was over there. I told him that I was over there in Vietnam. And he sent me a bunch of mountain rations.
Oh.
Mountain climbing rations that were like MREs, except on the civilian side. And there was strawberry malt mix and everything. So we had a whole case of those. Cooked it all up in one night. And my friends come into my tent and we ate it all of it. Funny thing was, one time we were going from a base camp to another base camp for radio relay. And we climbed on the back of this deuce and a half truck, so we were laying up on top. It was a small convoy going to another place. And all the kids were out on the street as we're going through this town. We were held up for a while. We were just sitting there talking, and all of a sudden here's all these people coming up to the trucks. And you start to wonder, you know, security's not too good now. And kids selling banana popsicles, you know, frozen bananas on a stick or whatever, and beer, and trying to make whatever they could, you know, trying to sell stuff. And this one time we bought some bananas and stuff off this one little kid. And lo and behold, a couple nights later, we were down the road, this other village, and we got mortared and fired on pretty good during the night. The next morning we swept the area. That kid that sold us banana popsicles was throwing grenades at us. So he didn't make it.
Yeah.
We were out on a radio relay with a wife helping out some of our teams, and the base started getting remortared. Well, we got mortared out in the field too. So when we came back, here all our stuff is blown away. It hit our tent. The funny thing was, if we had been back, we had never been in our bunker. We always used to lay in our tents, you know, and say, they can't hit nothing. If they hit fairly close, we'd just roll out onto the ground and crawl through the tent to the bunker. Well, we got back and our thing was blowing up. I got under my bunk and had a box, ammo crate box with my foot locker, and they had it had been hit, shrapnel through it. So I was going through it. I'd pick up my billfold was in there. I pick it up and it had a hole for one side, so you unfold it and see the hole, see how it was folded. I had 3 or 4 sets of fatigues in the bottom of it. It hit that and gone through, so I had a hole here and a hole here, and all through my clothes. Little pieces of metal. You'd pick out things and just see how it was folded up. I guess powers to be, so I decided if they defoliate the jungle at the three levels of the jungle, that it would be easier to fight, or less fighting, because you couldn't see yourself. There was a lot of that. When I was in Vietnam, we did a lot of reconnaissance stuff. We went in an area that we found a complex of bunkers, or ran into VC, and went back and told them that, yeah, they were there. They would send in arc lights or bomb raids and stuff on them. What we would do, we would be there off to the side. And as soon as the smoke cleared, we'd go rushing in, check out, see what happened, see if we found bodies or whatever, see what the collateral damage it was, and write a report and everything, and take that back. And we'd jump right in. The ground was still steaming when we were in the craters finding things. And that's how we were right in it all the time. During about 8 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago, it's about the time I retired, I had problems with my left side of my body. I really didn't understand what was going on. And I'd let it go for a couple of years. Finally, I went to a neurologist, and he told me that I had Parkinson's disease, and it was caused from being exposed to Agent Orange and other defoliants and stuff that we used in Vietnam that I worked around a lot. Well, there was a lot of good times, a lot of bad times.
Do the good times outweigh the bad times?
Sometimes.